Indiana.
How to express yourself. An inquiry into the ways in which we discover and express ideas, feelings, nature, culture, beliefs, and values. The ways in which we reflect on, extend, and enjoy our creativity, our appreciation of the stuff.
Natural disasters are a global problem, but we can make a change.
Our three lines of inquiry are function, an inquiry into how natural disasters happen; change, an inquiry into how natural disasters are changing people's lifestyles; and responsibility, an inquiry into what we can do to help people before and after natural disasters. Hello, my name is Fiona, and I'm here to talk about earthquakes. How are earthquakes made? Earthquakes are very different than other natural disasters. They are made differently and they are formed differently. And in this video you'll see how they're different than other natural disasters you might know of.
Zoom in! The surface of the Earth is like a jigsaw puzzle. Yes, it's not a single piece of land, but approximately 20 pieces of a puzzle that constantly move. But you don't feel it because they move quite slowly. Each one of those puzzle pieces are called tectonic plates. So, whenever those plates hit, bump, or slide past another plate, an earthquake is caused. The surface where these plates slip is called the fault or the fault plane.
So in this picture you'll see what is said in the video, and here's the two tectonic plates, and whenever they hit, bump, or move past each other, it causes an earthquake. How are earthquakes changing people's lifestyles? Earthquakes are changing people's lifestyles every day. People are losing their families, homes, and lives. An average of 10,000 and more people die from earthquakes every year. So in this picture you'll see from 1900 to 2009, the people that have died in earthquakes have gone down, but that still doesn't mean that everybody has not died. How can we help people before and after an earthquake? Instead of me telling you what you should do, I want you to think, how would you help, and how would you help the people that are suffering in the natural disasters? What I would do is I would call my family and friends and make sure that they're okay, and
Based on this picture, you can probably guess what I'm going to talk about. This picture is to demonstrate how much damage a tornado can do. The first line of inquiry is function, how a tornado works. This video can tell you about that.
Along for the ride? Tornadoes begin with a thunderstorm, but not just any thunderstorm. These are especially powerful, towering thunderstorms called supercells. Reaching up to over 50,000 feet, they bring high-force winds, giant hailstones, sometimes flooding, and great flashes of lightning too. These are the kinds of storms that breed tornadoes, but only if there are also very specific conditions in place, clues that we can measure and look out for when we're trying to forecast a storm. Rising air is the first ingredient needed for a tornado to develop. Any storm is formed when condensation occurs. The byproducts are the clouds. Condensation releases heat, and heat becomes the energy that drives huge upward drafts of air. The more condensation and the bigger the storm clouds grow, the more powerful those updrafts become. In supercells, this rising air mass is particularly strong. As the air climbs, it can change direction and start to move more quickly. Finally, at the storm's base, if there is a lot of moisture, a huge cloud base develops, giving a tornado something to feed off later, if it gets that far. When all these things are in place, a vortex can develop enclosed by the storm and forming a wide, tall tube of spinning air that then gets pulled upwards. We call this a mesocyclone. Outside, cool, dry, sinking air starts to wrap around the back of this mesocyclone, forming what's known as a rear flank downdraft. This unusual scenario creates a stark temperature difference between the air inside the mesocyclone and the air outside, building up a level of instability that allows a tornado to thrive. Then, the mesocyclone's lower part becomes tighter, increasing the speed of the wind. If, and that's a big if, this funnel of air moves down into that large, moist cloud base at the bottom of the parent storm, it sucks it in and turns it into a rotating wall of cloud, forming a link between the storm that created it and the earth. The second that tube of spinning cloud touches the ground, it becomes a tornado. Most are...
This is a diagram of the supercell I talked about in the middle in the video, and as you can see, the storm cloud itself is huge compared to the tornado coming out of the bottom. My second area is change. How tornadoes affect people's lives. To demonstrate that, I'll show you something called the Fujita scale, something meteorologists use to measure the damage a tornado does instead of the miles per hour. My last line of inquiry is responsibility. How we can help people before and after a tornado. The best thing you can do if a tornado happens is get to a basement or a low room with no windows, get low and cover your neck.
Hi, my name is Julian Thomas. I'm going to tell you about floods. Function. An inquiry into how floods happen. How are they made?
Floods can form after heavy rain over a long period or when a large snowfall melts. There are many different types of flooding which fall under three main categories. The first results from overflow. After heavy rain, a river can burst its banks. The water can engulf entire valleys far from the precipitation zone. Other tributaries add to the flow of water, worsening the deluge further downstream. The second type of flooding involves the accumulation of water in lowlands or basins. In normal weather conditions, water is absorbed into the ground and merges with the water table. When the ground is saturated, water builds up in low-lying areas. Runoff then quickly fills the valley and its waterways. The third type is caused by urbanization in flood-prone areas. Excess water passing through drainage systems can accumulate in low-lying zones. This effect is worsened by the coverage of land with buildings and impermeable surfaces such as concrete. Less water can be absorbed into the ground, overloading sewers.
Change. An inquiry into how floods are affecting people's lifestyles. Floods have killed at least 100 or more people in a year. As you might know, it's very dangerous to be in. Responsibility. An inquiry into how we can help people before and after a flood. What to do. Always make sure you are safe. Whenever you are in a flood, make sure that you are okay and safe before you make sure your friends and family are safe.
Hi, I'm Gabe and I'm here to talk about hurricanes. Hurricanes are a global problem, but we can make a change. Hurricanes are violent storms that have affected many people. For example, in 2005, Hurricane Katrina affected more than 1 million people and killed 1,800 people. Function, an inquiry into how hurricanes happen. High temperatures cause water evaporation, and the warm and cold air causes storm clouds. Then those storm clouds start to spin in a circle. Then the storm grows stronger and a column forms the eye of the hurricane. Change, an inquiry into how hurricanes affect people's lifestyles. Hurricanes affect people's lifestyles economically and weather. Storm surges are fast winds that rise in ocean water up to 15 feet or more. They affect nearly everything. Economically, hurricanes mostly affect buildings, cars, homes, and people. Responsibility, and inquiry into how we can help people before and after a hurricane. Our group had an interview with Garrett Peters. He works with CERT, aka Community Emergency Response Team. He helps people after a natural disaster has occurred. This is what he said about helping our community after a natural disaster or hurricane has occurred. 1, make sure yourself is safe. 2, make sure your family is safe. And 3, make sure your neighbors are safe.
Our group's action plan was to educate kids on what to do and how to stay safe during a natural disaster. For example, we showed a sample survival guide to show what to bring if there is a natural disaster near. So some things you might need is a tent, water, a flashlight, batteries, emergency blankets, warm or cold clothes depending on what you want to know, the bag for hand, foot warmers, emergency phone, and food.
As you can see, natural disasters are a global problem, but we can make a change. For example, natural disasters happen all over the world every day in many different places. Also, natural disasters are changing people's lifestyles every day rapidly and politically. Lastly, we all can help people before and after a natural disaster.
We want to give a special thank you to Mr. Peters, Ms. Bates, Ms. Powers, Ms. McDonough, Ms. Pence, and Ms. Cisneros. Thank you. Any questions?
Why did you pick this topic?
Well, I picked it because when I was younger, I've been through quite a lot of hurricanes.
I took tornadoes because when I was younger I went through a tornado.
I picked earthquakes because I've always been interested in earthquakes and I wanted to learn more about them.
And I wanted to learn more about natural disasters.
Any more questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the hardest part of it?
Probably communicating problems. That's yeah. Yeah. You will come.
Of all the natural disasters that you learned about, which would you each least like want to be involved in? Which do you think is the worst?
It's a hard one because we all have different personalities, so we probably pick different ones. But what I would pick is probably, I'm guessing, probably a flood, because those.
I'd say a hurricane or a tornado.
I would say a hurricane.
I'd say hurricane.